Today, instead of talking about something that's been stuck in my head, I think I'm gonna talk about something that just kind of popped in my head. Ashton's Daily Head Diary. Been feeling down, low energy, really unmotivated. It's not a very uncommon occurrence for me, but it's been a while since I've had this much trouble kind of getting over it. I think maybe things that usually help me with that are feeling like I did a good job or I did something well, like at work or some kind of creative thing. And things have been mostly going well. But I've had this feeling that's been harder to put to words, but feeling of that it's not going the way I had expected, even though I really didn't have a clear expectation. And so just feeling kind of generally down about that. The idea that popped in my head had something to do with that I needed to feel inspired. And generally I think words like motivation and inspired, they come up a lot when talking about artistic expression or creating things that don't just have a clear, defined start and finished, do it these steps. However, when giving practical advice, people that work in the arts or creative fields, or any field where a thing has to be produced, be it content creation or whatever, it is a rather unreliable practice to only work when one is inspired. And so I've never really tried to use that excuse, maybe a long time ago, but I've never said, well, I wasn't inspired, so I didn't do it. For me, I had maybe connected a desire to do something with being inspired to do something. And there's something there, but I know that, I guess, logically, that is not a good explanation or excuse. There are things you can control, like your actions and stuff, but you can't always control when you're inspired. People make videos on go out to the woods, take a bath, take a shower, do something mindless, allow your brain to roam. That'll help encourage inspiration and creativity. But the angle that popped in my head was more about kind of thinking about inspiration and that classic idea of the muses or having a muse. I had a maybe over-romanticized or poetic, flowery way of thinking of I need a muse. And there is the actual romantic of a person that is your muse. But in a broader sense, something that inspires you. There are things that in my life that would have the kind of traditional muse attributes, things that are important to me, things that I love, I'm passionate about, I value. But I don't think that's actually what I need. But I was thinking of looking at it a different way, less sort of romantic, maybe slightly more practical. And I wondered in my head, what is the relationship between the words muse and amusing? Do I just need something to amuse myself? When I have something that I find fun, amuses me, I think I generally do better mentally. I think I tend to generally feel better and have a better outlook. And to really tie it all together, looking up sort of the etymology of the word amuse or amusing, I think the literal meaning was to distract, to deceive, to get your attention. And having ADHD, I don't have a thing that I can use in a either productive or at least healthy way of distracting myself, amusing myself. my feelings kind of start to get shut down and stuck, maybe, that I find it hard to be amused by anything or be pleased by the sort of mundane, general monotony of regular life. And it's a little strange because I think it's something I would espouse generally, is that people should do more things that they find fun or things that they enjoy, make more time for that. Most of the things I have tried to gear my life around are things that I enjoy doing. But even those things, if you do something you enjoy for too long or without much change, they'll lose their amusement. They can still be important. You can still like them, but yeah. Somewhere in my head I was combining the words inspiration, muse, and musing, amusing, fun. Not sure where this fits in yet, but perhaps there has to also be a sense of novelty, discovery, newness. I think that's a part of it too. I think I need something regularly in my life that provides something new, unfamiliar, but also amusing, interesting, distracting. And as silly or childish, maybe immature it sounds like sometimes, when I have a video game that I'm really into, I feel like I'm doing better because it provides that experience of a discovery, enjoyment, but also the sort of predictable structure that real life lacks. Easier to understand, maybe, I don't know. But I worry that video games or anything can sometimes be too much of a distraction. So needing to enforce limits feels like a wise thing. It's not necessarily natural, preferred, I guess. I wanted to say ideal, but that too can be a misleading concept. For at least a week and a half, making these videos was amusing to me. You know, it took a couple bad days of not really having the time for it or knowing exactly what I wanted to talk about, that the amusement waned, the motivation waned. So I'm going to try to figure out what's maybe the best productive, healthy, realistic, sustainable way to incorporate that idea in my life. That when I have things that need done, responsibilities to do, even things that I traditionally enjoy or believe in or think are good to do, that there's either something about it that is amusing or something I can take a small break with to amuse myself. I don't know. I think I'm going to try to think of those things today over the next couple of days, and maybe I'll have something to share by the end of it. Talk to you tomorrow.